So I just got around to watching the third episode of Kakegurui. I know I'm not saying it right, I've been corrected, and I'm trying my hardest to kind of pronounce it right, but I still can't really pronounce it right, so yeah. I just want to say I'm very sorry. But anyways, with that being said though, I just got around to finishing the third episode of this series, and oh my god. So, you remember how last week one of the big parts I was talking about is that there seemed to be something that could become a problem with this series, that the main female character, Yumiko, she wasn't losing, so there was like no sense of tension to where she would ever lose. Well, apparently this series wanted to answer my question, and let us see Yumiko lose, actually, in this episode. So, I'm very pleased with the outcome of this episode. It handled one of the problems that the series could have had if it didn't handle it soon enough, and it finally did with the third episode. So, just good job. Good job to this series for, at the very least, handling a problem that was starting to become very apparent. For instance, Yumiko going in, losing once, figuring out how they cheat, and then she wins. But in this case, Yumiko, she went in, she figured out how they cheated before she even fought, and then she lost. And this, in a way, I guess you could say that it was slightly different in how it was executed, so I do like how the outcome of it was, but even though she figured out, like, you know, the cheating and stuff, and that is the similarity, she still lost. So I do like that. I do like how the third episode was done, because it now shows that the series will have it to where our main female character will lose. She's not always going to be someone that overcomes every single obstacle before her, and she's undefeatable. We actually get to see her fall and lose, and see how she handles the outcome of being, you know, someone that has lost all her money. In this case, at the end of the episode, you see it to where she has now fallen into the part to where she is just like a feline. She is a cat now. She's like a house pet, basically what happened to our main male character at the beginning of the series. So there is a difference now, but the way she actually handles that, it's very jarring in a way. I gotta say, the way she kind of went with it, and when she was acting like a cat at the end of the episode, it was very stunning, very jarring, and it was like, yo, it's kind of creepy in a way. And I mean, a lot of these kids, most likely a part of the school, when they're making fun of people that have lost everything, they've lost all their money, usually they could pick on them or whatever, and they get really upset, and that's probably what many of them feed off of, you know, being able to bully someone, and they're getting all upset and stuff. But in this case, when they were trying to bully Yumiko, that came in thinking she was like a god, basically, that she can, you know, win everything, which we know her mindset, she's not really like that, but the point is, many would see her like that. When they go over to realize after she lost, they're like trying to pick on her, and it doesn't work, they're like, you're kind of freaky, like, you're creepy as hell, and that's why they back the hell up. I do like that. I do like how Yumiko, she was just taking it, and she didn't really even give a shit at all for what they were saying, and she's like, I kind of get used to this. In a way, I feel like she was just trying to manipulate them to show them how stupid it was for what they're doing. So just, overall, I like Yumiko even more as a character now because of this episode and how she handled her loss. Now, besides just the loss, though, I do hope that this isn't the only loss she gets. But I also don't want her always to lose either. And this is when it comes to this type of series that there needs to be a perfect balance in between, which will be very hard for a writer to do. But there needs to be a good balance, a good blend of winning and losing, and it needs to be more real. But there is one thing I have noticed about this series so far. There is a lot of cheating going on, which is to be expected. When you think of gambling and all that stuff to where people are playing blackjack or any type of gambling game, there's always someone, especially in literature, that is trying to cheat. That's just how it is. That's how these type of series are. That's how they can, you know, spice up the games and make it where it has more attention. Because a lot of times, as you know, gambling, it's based on luck. It's all about luck. It's not really based on, you know, who is more skilled. I guess, in a way, it does come down to skill in certain categories of gambling. But in reality, though, a lot of it is based on luck. And so, to actually spice something like this up, obviously you would need to have something else that mixes it up. For instance, the characters figuring out a way to cheat the system to make it to where they could always win, while Yumiko is always that person that's trying to overcome these odds and beat them at their own game. So it is interesting, it just, there is something also reoccurring when it comes to the cheating aspect, so hopefully something else is thrown in to not just have this similar old thing, like someone has to cheat, or someone is cheating, Yumiko figures it out, and then, you know, she wins or loses. Hopefully, eventually it comes down to something that's even different than that. Like, maybe it just comes down to sheer luck. And in a way, I guess you could say the conclusion of this gambling game, even though there was cheating, it still came down to luck. Like, there was a lot of luck based in this game, like this gambling game in this episode. So, I guess Yumiko lost legitly, in a way. But, still, regardless of all of that, though, I do like this series. After 3 episodes, I can proudly say that I'm definitely going to continue watching this series. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely not the best well-written series I've seen thus far from Summer of Anime, 2017. But it is still a very enjoyable watch, and after 3 episodes, I can proudly say that I am pleased, and I definitely will continue watching this series. I could see some maybe not liking this series, because once again, one of the big topics of, debate is the character expressions of the series. That's what everybody talks about when it comes to this anime, is that, the characters, the way they get all creepy, and the tone shift when their faces just, distort and all that, you're like, holy shit, this is like creepy, fucked up, and like, many don't like that. But in a certain way, I like how that's being shown to just showcase the ugly side inside of these characters. Like that entire scene at the end, when, our main female character, Yumiko, she was getting bullied, and then, she turned around and she's acting like a cat, and when you see how the way the girls were talking to her, they were like spitting all over the screen to emphasize just how disgusting they were. They had no sense of being nice at all. They were just awful people. So, like I said, the series has some good aspects about it, and a little bit of bad as well, but that's to be expected when it comes to this type of series. But overall, I do like what's been going on. I just can't wait to see how Yumiko is going to develop, because, I mean, if she continuously loses, and she becomes to the point where she can't even gamble anymore, I'm kind of curious to what would happen to her character. Like, would she realize what gambling is doing to her life? Would she realize gambling has ruined her life? And would she continue to gamble? I mean, I'm very curious to see how her character would change if, she constantly kept losing, too. So that is something I would like to see. I would like to see, some certain character development with her losing, and also the main male character, even though he's kind of more like a narrator as well. I mean, that's what I've been told as too, by a couple of you in the comments, that, I mean, I do hope he develops, and I hope he actually becomes more of a prominent character in the series, because thus far, he's just been someone in the background to kind of let us know he's like the normal guy in the group. I would really like it if he was a guy that actually was participating a little bit more. Maybe even helping Yumiko cheat, too. That would be some very interesting development as well, because as we know, Yumiko, she doesn't really like to cheat because of what we've seen from her personality, but if she was to have the main male character cheat with her and all that, that would be cool to see how she would change her perspective on gambling. But yeah, that's about it, though, when it comes to this episode, episode 3. It was enjoyable. The student council is finally making their move, making waves, and trying to start shit with Yumiko. Yumiko lost her first match in this episode, so overall, it was just a very splendid episode this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.